So where is the altcoin season? Are we still getting one? And when are we getting one? Well, first I want to take a look at what happened in the previous two cycles, and I'm talking about this cycle right here, which is the 2021 cycle. If you take a look at when Bitcoin dominance topped during that time, as you can see, during the halving year of 2020, Bitcoin dominance went up in September, October, and then it went down in November. But then after it went down in November, we still had a pump in December, and it actually topped in January of 2021 before getting this huge correction, and this is when the altcoin season happened. But what happened in the cycle before that? Well, of course, Bitcoin dominance in this cycle, in the first cycle, topped way earlier. It topped in 2015, but what do you know? It also started going down in December and January. And it was actually going up in September, October, and November, as you can see. But what happened before that? Well, as you can see, it went up in October, just like it did over here, and in the cycle that happened after that as well. And what happened after that? We had a correction in November, and then more corrections, and we pretty much went sideways, but this was not a halving year, so of course you cannot expect Bitcoin dominance to do too much. But what are we learning from this? Well, I think that if we want to judge this chart based on what happened in the previous few years, then maybe it's safe to say that we will have a correction in November, and if the correction is not large enough, then we will most likely continue going up until December and until the beginning of the year, and then Bitcoin dominance will start doing something like it did over here. And I was talking about this as well. Here we went up in September and October, just like we're doing right now, and then we dropped in November, December, and January, but we still went sideways since pretty much March, and this is when the altcoin season actually started. And of course, we don't have to copy exactly everything. I mean, we don't have to copy this one by one, but we can use this to at least get an idea of what might happen in this cycle. And as you can see, in 2017, if you look at what happened here it went up in September and October. So what does that mean? Well, this shows us that Bitcoin dominance really likes going up in September and October. But let's continue. Guess what happened in the next year? It also put in a new high in September, and then of course we had a correction, and it still went up in October and even in November, and then we had a correction in December, January, February, and March. And then we continued because this was not a halving year. And let's continue with this. We were going up in July, August, and then a bit in September, and then we had a correction in October, November, and December. And then again, at the beginning of the year, Bitcoin dominance dropped. And let's continue again. What happened in 2020? You might wonder. Well, we went up in September, we went up in October, we went down in November, even though we've still put in a new higher high. And then in December, we went up again. That was the last pump. And then we had the altcoin season right here. And as you can see, the altcoin season still took about like 3 months to start after Bitcoin dominance actually topped. So what could happen in this cycle? Well, we have been going up in October, and maybe you could say that even September as well. So if we continue going up until December, then we have to put in higher highs each month. If we do not do that, I think it's going to be an indicator that Bitcoin dominance has stopped. And if it has stopped, then we need to get some kind of correction like we got over here and over here. So yeah, that's how I think the altcoin season will play out. And of course, the correction does not have to take as long as this or as long as this right here. I mean, the altcoin season could literally happen over 2 months. So we'll never know what will actually happen. I mean, we could get a wick that looks like this and then a wick that looks like this, and that could be the altcoin season. That could be it. But we could also get something like this, and we could slowly go down on the Bitcoin dominance chart each month until October of next year. So you never really know what will happen, but judging by what happened in the past at least, I think it's safe to assume that Bitcoin dominance will continue going up until December if we do not top in October, and then in December we start going down, and that's when the altcoins will get their altcoin season. And in my opinion, that's literally the last chance for the altcoins to get an altcoin season. Now, I also want to talk about the Bitcoin price. As you can see, we are still going sideways, but I believe this will change very, very soon, because usually October is a green month for Bitcoin. So if we want to do what we did in the previous few cycles, we have to go up in October, November, and December. And if we do go up in these months, that would make perfect sense, because let's say Bitcoin goes to like 100K. Of course, that would make the Bitcoin dominance chart go up. I mean, I don't think Ethereum will be able to outperform Bitcoin if it keeps going up. But once it goes to 100K and then we get a correction, I think that will trigger the altcoin season. And by the time Bitcoin is done with its correction, altcoins will be able to do this. Now, if you look at some altcoins, for example, Cardano, there are many altcoins that need a third wave move to the upside. And as you know, third waves are the most impulsive waves. So if we do get a third wave on most altcoins, and by the way, most altcoins, like I said, are in a 1-2 setup right now, so it would make sense to get a third wave. If we do get an impulsive move on the altcoin charts, I think it's going to be very likely that the Bitcoin dominance chart will go down very rapidly, and I don't know if we will put in a lower low. I don't think so, because as you can see in this cycle, we did not go below this low right here. So maybe we'll just keep putting in higher lows, and maybe we'll bottom at like 40% in this cycle and top at like 53% in the next cycle to continue what we're doing over here. So yeah. Now, speaking of the other altcoins, like I was saying, we need a third wave on Cardano. We need a third wave on ICP. We need a fifth wave on Solana, which is not a third wave. So if it does not go up as much as everyone is expecting it to go up, so for example, people are expecting it to go to like $3,000 in this cycle, I don't think that's going to happen. And, you know, this is very likely why. I mean, we are already in a fourth wave move down right now, and I don't think Solana will get to these crazy numbers everyone is predicting. I think Solana will top somewhere between the 200% extension, which is at $500, and the 2.618 extension, which is at $700. If we are more bullish, of course, we could go to the 3.618, but probably not higher than that. Then there are some altcoins like XRP, for example. I mean, do I really need to talk about this? It has been going sideways for like 7 years. I mean, what's the point of this? And in my opinion, if you are invested in this, I mean, even if it does go up in the altcoin season, which is very, very likely, I don't think it's going to break its 2021 high. So what's the point of this? And then we have Uniswap. Uniswap is another coin that needs a third wave. Nothing much to say here. I mean, we'd rather have a long price history. So yeah, we don't even have 5 waves for the previous cycle. So it's really hard to say what will happen, but we still get a third wave right now. Then, of course, there are some coins like Tron that are going up, and you know, they have been going up since pretty much 2022. And this really makes me wonder if Tron will start going down when Bitcoin dominance starts going down. Because right now, this coin looks like the Bitcoin dominance chart. So it's really interesting, and it will be very interesting to see what happens once Bitcoin dominance actually goes down. Then we have some meme coins like Shiba Inu, and Shiba Inu is already in a 4th wave move down. We're still in a 5th wave move up. And like I said multiple times, I mean, this is a meme coin, so it could obviously go way higher than my target region right here. I mean, it could go even about the 2.618. This really all depends on the boost. So we'll see what happens with this. And then we have some coins like Matic. I mean, Matic right now looks pretty dead, to be honest with you. We have not gotten any pump. I mean, Bitcoin went up during this time a bit, but Matic keeps going down. So, you know, this is, I don't like the structure at all. We don't even have a new bear market low, which, you know, in my opinion, would have been way more bullish than what's happening right now. So, yeah, it's hard to say what will happen with Matic in this cycle. Then Mirror Protocol, this coin also needs a third wave. It's respecting the second wave move down support level quite well, so that's good. And it's already above the bull market support band, which is even better. So I think it's likely that we get a third wave on this chart as well, but you never know. And then, of course, we have some other altcoins, for example, Litecoin. I mean, there's not really any point in talking about this, in my opinion. This is just going to keep going sideways. So yeah, moving on to a much more bullish coin, in my opinion, which is Chainlink. Chainlink needs a third wave move to the upside, and in the previous cycle, it actually went up in 5 waves, which formed a first wave move. Then in the bear market, we formed a second wave move down, and right now we are forming a third wave move to the upside, which could be very bullish because a third wave is very bullish, always. But, you know, we still have to get out of this 1-2 setup, and, you know, Chainlink is respecting support levels, so This is another altcoin that needs to start a third wave, and that will only start once we get an altcoin season. So if we do not get an altcoin season, then this is pretty much going sideways until we do. And there are of course some other altcoins, for example Dogecoin also need a third wave move, AVAX also needs a third wave move, VeChain as well, and there are some other altcoins as well, for example Jasmy. And Render is a bit different. You should watch my Render videos if you want more information about this. I still think that Render is in a third wave, but the third wave is not done. So we will most likely continue going up on this chart as well, at least according to my opinions. But we'll see. So yeah, nothing has really changed since the last video, but I still wanted to make an outtake about this because, I believe this is important. And what happens this month, I believe will be very important, because if we do not top in October, then it's going to be very likely that we continue going sideways until December. On the altcoin charts I meant, not the Bitcoin dominance chart. We should continue going up on the Bitcoin dominance chart in my opinion. I don't think it's going to go sideways. So yeah, that's all I have. I hope you enjoyed. Check out our YouTube memberships and our Patreon if you want access to all of our charts. Like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.